Hey everyone, I'm Andrew, and this is the Brashears Project podcast. So as many of you know, the tradition is to share a dad joke that one of my kiddos have shared with me the week prior to kind of kick off our podcast. Well, this week I am super excited because I found a joke that I cannot wait to share with them. So some of you may know that we have a koi pond in our backyard. My wife and I, we dug it ourselves, we installed it, it leaks, so you have to fill it up every morning, but it's super fun. Anyway, so the joke goes like this, and it kind of goes perfectly with the koi pond. What do you call a fish wearing a bow tie? Sophisticated. So that's my dad joke for the week. I know the kiddos are going to love it so much and just laugh so hard about it. You're probably rolling your eyes at this moment. But I am really excited to dive into this episode because this past week I have been pondering kind of the why behind what I'm doing. It is so much work. And honestly, it's a part-time job. If I made money from it, it would easily be a 40-hour full-time job, right? So with the intensity of my insurance job, also doing the Brashears project, plus my family and other commitments that I have really been in all sorts of mental places this past week. So as I was pondering kind of, well, what should this episode be about? I thought, well, why not just deep dive into this? So if I kind of go back to the beginning, the Brashears project was never supposed to be a business. It was never supposed to be a podcast. It was never supposed to be a series of books. Granted, that's what it's kind of morphed into. But when it originally started, it started with one book, just one single book for my daughter. So in the summer of 2025, I wrote a book called Claire the Bear, and I illustrated it with AI. So disclaimer there, I did not illustrate that book myself. I wanted to give it to her as a birthday gift. And so I printed the photos at Walgreens. I stick glued them to cardboard. We still have the copy, and it's super homemade and cute. But at that time, I wasn't thinking about publishing. I wasn't thinking about sales. I just wanted to create something for my special for my daughter because I know, or I should say I knew that at that time, that's what she needed. But as I worked on it and I thought about the process of creating it, something just kept pulling at me. And for those that know me personally, you know that I have always had a heart for kids who feel different. The kids who are left out, the kids who feel misunderstood, the kids who feel like something is wrong with them. When I was a young man, a young adult, I worked at a camp for kids whose parents were incarcerated. And I was so full when I was doing that. And you know, maybe the reason that I have a heart for these kids is because I've spent part of my own life feeling that way too. So when I finished Claire the Bear, I started wondering if there might be other kids who needed the same message that my daughter needed. Kids who needed to know they weren't broken. Kids who needed to know that being different doesn't make them less valuable. Because I know that as a kiddo myself, I needed to hear that. And so somewhere along the way, this single birthday gift that I made for my daughter became the backbone of the Brashears project. So what started as one single book has become a mission, has become my mission. Not a mission to sell books, not a mission to start a podcast, not a mission to make TikToks, just a mission to help kids feel seen. And, you know, the funny thing is that starting something new always sounds so excited when you talk about it afterwards. And while you're living it, it's mostly awkward. Like, I'm the kind of person, always struggled with consistency. 2026, I told myself the word of the year for my life is consistency. So at the beginning of the year when I started making TikToks, I figured that was the easiest way to market this book to parents who could purchase the book for kids. It felt so awkward. I vividly remember posting my first TikTok. I vividly remember recording my first podcast. Obviously, that wasn't that long ago. And I remember publishing my work online for people to see. And to be honest with you, I was terrified. Like, and not terrified of strangers, like people I don't know, the crazies on TikTok, whatever, but I was terrified of the people I knew. Like my friends, my family, people from my church, my daughter's mother, people who knew me before I started doing all this. And I could not get it out of my head. I just kept thinking every time I post a TikTok or every time I did something, even still it bothers me sometimes. I just am always wondering, like, what are they going to think of this? Would they think that what I'm doing is weird? Would they think I'm trying too hard? And honestly, I think that's what keeps a lot of people from starting things. It's not a fear of failure. It's a fear of exposure, a fear of being vulnerable. I'm actively reading a book. It's called The Gifts of Imperfection. You should look it up. But it talks about how love and connection begins with vulnerability. But I think we're afraid of that. I think we're afraid of being vulnerable with each other. So for me, it was just the feeling of being seen before I'm good at something. And honestly, that's even where I find myself now. Like, I can't tell you, oh, I've sold 2 million copies. Like the book, The Gifts of Imperfection, sitting over there on my desk. I can't put that on my books. I don't have a ton of feedback on my books. My family tells me the book's great. But lately I've been thinking a lot about like shame and social awkwardness. And not like the funny kind of awkward, but like the kind of awkward where you walk away from a conversation replaying in your head everything that you just said. The kind of awkwardness that you wonder if people actually like you. The kind where you feel like everyone else got a handbook on how to be confident and somehow you missed it. This is me being vulnerable right now. Like, these are the things that are kind of going through my head as this brochures project is growing slowly. So I have been reading, learning, and trying to understand why I care so much about what others are going to think. And I think I'm coming to the conclusion that maybe the answer isn't about becoming fearless. I did a podcast about being a big macho man. And maybe that's not what we're trying to become. Maybe what we need to realize is that the meaningful things, they're almost always uncomfortable at the beginning. Like, I couldn't tell you that I had firsthand experience talking to all of these people that have built something out of nothing. But I know for me personally, I'm trying to build something that feels awkward. Like writing a book feels awkward. Starting this podcast has felt awkward. Making this video right now feels awkward. This is my first one videoing live. Well, not live, but like in person. They've all just been audio recordings. But I feel like talking about things that matter, they just feel awkward. But my mind, the brochures project mission is that by helping that one kid feel seen, for me personally, it's worth all the awkwardness in the world. And as a dad, helping one parent feel understood is worth a little awkwardness for me. Building something bigger that is bigger than myself is worth a little awkwardness. So, short and sweet, maybe that's where I'll leave this episode. But I just encourage you, if there's something that you've been wanting to start, please, please, please do not wait until it stops feeling awkward. because I'm sitting here right now feeling incredibly awkward. And I'm not sure that it will ever stop feeling awkward. Maybe courage isn't the absence of discomfort. Maybe courage is deciding that something matters more than the discomfort. And that's a deep thought. And I'm trying to learn that too. But what I do know is that one kid, when I published Claire the Bear at the very beginning, I told myself, one kid, I don't need to sell a bunch of copies. If I sell one copy, it's got to be to someone I don't know, but just one copy, that's all that matters. It reached that one kid. And that is the mission behind the Brochures Project. It's just the one kid. So I appreciate you tuning in to this week's episode. Again, I know it was short. Obviously, it's awkward because it's on video, but I'm so glad that you tuned in wherever you're listening, whether it's the car, whether you're watching. Thank you for tuning in and supporting the Brochures Project. I'm Andrew, and I cannot wait to share more with you next week. Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Brochures Project. If you liked what you heard and you want to learn more, it's super simple. Just go to Instagram, search Andrew Brochures. There you'll find my Instagram profile linked with the Brochures Project profile as well. You can also go to TikTok, just search the Brochures Project, and you'll find all sorts of fun videos there. Thanks again for listening, and I cannot wait to share more with you soon.